All right, welcome back to the Over and Under podcast. It is yours truly, Charles and James, coming to you this Sunday afternoon for a reaction to the games that happened Saturday. James, how are we feeling? How are we doing?
We are here. I am tired because I was out and about for Halloween parties and stuff last night. And yeah, I'm too old for all that. And my friends keep dragging me out to these things like I'm young, but I can't do it.
Nah,
My body
dragging you,
will not allow me to do it.
dragging you is crazy. You know you was out there popping Modelo's and drinking
Mm,
Modelo's and everything.
Nah.
Come on, James. They call you the life of the party. The party don't start till
Mm-mm.
you show up.
Well, they better start doing find someone else because I'm getting too old for all that.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I'm getting too old for taking SEC teams to win on the road and absolutely getting embarrassed. So let me go ahead and first say A&M fans, I still don't like you all. I just want to let you know that I still don't like any of you. The code is strong that I see because of the reactions that I got from my post about saying that Connor Wigman wasn't the answer and that y'all would get exposed. Now,
Well, he wasn't, as we
wait,
can
wait,
tell.
wait, wait. We're gonna get
Okay,
into
okay.
that,
All right.
but I just want to say I was wrong. However, I was only half wrong. But a loss is a loss. Okay, so I will not be apologizing for that. And yeah, we'll go ahead and move on. James, what a great week 9 that we had in college football. A lot of things happened. Some shakeups, some close calls, but overall come this Sunday afternoon, we got the AP poll, and there's a lot of people not happy, and there's a lot of people that are really scratching their head. Shout out to G. But here we go. We got Oregon at number 1. Obviously had a good match against Illinois. Georgia had an off week, so they remain number 2. Penn State, the Nittany Lions, had to play Wisconsin. Drew Aller went down. Backup quarterback comes in. Actually looks a little better than Drew Aller in the Andy Kotelnicki offense. Ohio State hosts Nebraska, and it was shaky there for a second, but they come in at number
Yep.
4. Miami absolutely embarrasses Florida State. Won't even get on Florida State. Such a sad thing to see from Mike Norvell. Texas goes to Nashville, Tennessee to play Vanderbilt and sneaks out of there with a win. Tennessee had a bye week. They're number 7. The Fighting Irish absolutely embarrassed the Navy. Um, yeah, hate to see that. Number 9, you have BYU. BYU has been talked about as not being that great of a team. However, week in and week out, they continue to get W's. And then number 10, newly number top 10, Texas A&M makes it to the top 10 with their big win over LSU. 11 Clemson, 12. Sorry, 11 Clemson, 12 Iowa State, 13 Indiana, 14 is Bama. 15 Boise State. Good win, Boise State over UNLV. We'll talk about that game later. 16 LSU, 17 Kansas State, 18 Pitt, 19 Ole Miss, 20 SMU, 21 we got Army, 22 we got Washington State, 23 we got Colorado, showing them in the top 25 and is bowl eligible. Whew. Mm. I know that ticked a lot of people off. Um, and these I don't agree with. You got 24 Illinois. Get Illinois out of here. And then 25, you still got Missouri in there when they haven't scored more than 10 points in the
How
last
is
two
Missouri
games.
still in the top
I
25?
had no idea, bro. No idea. But yeah, that was the AP poll that came out Sunday, or came out this afternoon actually. So, James, what do we feel about that? What are your concerns? What are your gripes?
My gripe is Missouri still being in the top 25. That don't make any sense to me. They week in, week out, they've shown that they're mediocre at best. Offense is trash. defense can't stop anything. I don't understand. Uh, other than that, I'm quite surprised that BYU jumped all the way to number 9. But I mean, they've been dominant, so I'm not mad about it. I'm just a little surprised. A&M, I figured if they won, they would jump in the top 10. So I kind of figured on that. Colorado's a process. Excuse me, isn't a surprise that they jumped into the top 25 at all. I got to look at their record. I mean, not their record, but their schedule. But they haven't played anybody ranked, have they?
Colorado has not played anybody ranked. No. Well, yes, they did. They played Kansas State and lost by 3 points.
Okay. Yeah, so that one I'm a little confused about, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm looking at this stuff right now, and it's just, yeah, that's the only one I'm just kind of just head scratchy about. Just like, I don't know if they maybe 25. I mean, 23 isn't that super high, but still, I don't know if they deserve to be in the top 25. You know what I mean? Just because they haven't played anybody ranked and they haven't beat that they played Kansas State pretty close, but they didn't pull it out. Other than that, they lost miserably to Nebraska, and they've been winning ever since. A lot of comeback games. That comeback game against Baylor, but Baylor's mediocre.
Baylor beat
UCF,
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State is trash too.
Oklahoma State almost beat BYU last week.
Well, BYU still won, and they're in the top 10. Beat the hell out of UCF and beat Arizona and Cincinnati. So yeah, I don't know if they deserve that top 25 bid, but I'm not mad at it. That is what it is. But other than that, that's all I got for it. And LSU, they took a significant drop to 8-16.
Yeah.
I might put them at like maybe 15 or maybe
Well, they
even
dropped 8 spots.
maybe I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to put them over Indiana. Maybe
Yeah,
right
Indiana
there.
should be way higher. That's one of my things. Indiana should be way higher. Like
Yeah,
if Indiana had an M on their logo instead of a I and U, they would be higher.
but
That brand bias is crazy.
where would you put them at? Because Iowa State's undefeated. Clemson has been playing well. A&M just beat LSU. BYU's undefeated and playing really well. So where would you put them at?
They're undefeated and they're first in the Big Ten. So I would put them where they should be. I would say maybe 7,
Oh,
8.
that high?
Yeah. Why? I mean, they're undefeated, right? And it's not like they've played with their food, James. 41-24, 56-17, 56-7, 31-17. Now they're gonna have a chance to prove it, right? They got to play Michigan State. They got to play Michigan. They got to play Ohio State, and then they play Purdue. So they're gonna have a chance to prove their worth. But if they beat Michigan, Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State, we're talking about Indiana jumping from what are they now, 13 to
13.
the top 5 for sure. To the top 5, they should.
So
And they're doing it with a backup quarterback. They won that game, by the way.
yeah, I was gonna say that too. So are you dropping Tennessee then?
Yeah, I'm dropping Tennessee because they lost to who they lose to? Arkansas.
Yeah,
They lost to Arkansas. They did
and
beat Bama though. That kind of the thing is, it's not who you lose to; it's who you beat, right? So that's
yeah,
why a lot of teams at the top are still there, right? Like let's just say for Miami, they beat a were they ranked? Well, yeah, Louisville was ranked. I think Virginia Tech was ranked when they played them. So They got a couple of ranked wins, but just overall, the whole thing. I'm telling you, come next week, next time we have this meeting next Sunday, none of this will matter. None because a volcano Saturday is erupting next Saturday, and it'll be crazy. But don't want to spend too much time on that. But yeah, um, the AP voters are definitely smoking crack on some of these picks, but we won't spend too much time because on this next subject, James. Okay, look. So Texas A&M hosted LSU last night in a game that I thought LSU had an advantage because one, they had a better offensive line, and I feel like they had a better coaching advantage. Okay, and I felt like they had a better quarterback. Which, to keep it 100 with you, in the first half, they did. LSU came out. LSU ended up losing this game, by the way. Texas A&M wins 38-23. LSU comes out 17. Sorry, it was 17-7 going into the halftime. A&M couldn't do anything. A&M couldn't really move the ball. Wigman was absolutely horrible. He was 6 for 18, 64 yards. He had like what 6 carries and negative 14 yards. So Wigman was not who he should be, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're gonna stick with Wigman because you saw that Marcel Reed couldn't pass, and then but he could rush. But then when you needed him to pass, you brought Wigman in the Missouri game, which take me for word for this. Missouri is such a fraud. It is crazy. Okay, such a fraud because they give teams hope that their quarterbacks are good. All right. And this is going back on Alabama too, because Alabama didn't play a perfect game either. But all right, so we go into halftime. LSU's up, and Elko was just basically saying like, "Hey, we got to be able to move the ball better, and our defense has to step up to the plate." I mean, Nussmeyer wasn't getting touched; they weren't getting pressure on him. He was throwing it, having plenty of time to throw. And then what happens, James? Wigman gets subbed out, and the same thing that happened in the Missouri game is the same thing that fucking happened here. You didn't plan for the black savior. That's what I'm gonna call him because he saved Texas A&M. They were dead in the water. LSU needed maybe one or two plays, big plays, another touchdown, and I think they bust this wide open, right? Marcel Reed comes in there, perfect 2 for 2, has like 6 rushes for like 90 something yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, energetic because in that place the momentum shifts. You can even see the screen shaking. There were 104,000 people at College Station yesterday. That momentum shakes. It's just the game that we play, right? So Aggies, look, you proved me wrong today. You proved me wrong today. My question to you, you're Mike Elko. Going forward, who do you start? Or do you just go with this 2 quarterback system and just make teams preparation weak for you hell because they don't know who you're gonna start?
I think that's the way you have to go about it because Wigman, when he's out there, he looks just garbage. But he can throw when he needs to throw. Marcel Reed, he can run, but his deep ball and just passing in general is just not there yet. So if I'm Mike Elko, yeah, I'm just two quarterback system. Who's playing next week? We don't know, and just do it that way, just to make the other team just don't know who to prepare for. Which at the same time, you should be able to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks regardless. If you've seen what's happening and everything in this last LSU game, and then also in Missouri and stuff, I feel like you should just, plan for both. Who knows who's playing, but you should, as a coaching staff, be prepared for both of them. But going forward, they just got to do it this way because Wigman is not y'all savior. And Marcel Reeves, he can only do so much. Once people start shutting down that scrambling and rushing and stuff, he's gonna be dead in the water. So I guess just play both. I like passing situations. I mean, that's easy to scheme for, but you might have to do that. Passing situations, sub out, get Wigman in there, and then after that, Reed can do the RPOs and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's still shaky for me for A&M on the offense just because they don't have a solid quarterback that can play a full game and they can just be in control. One can
Yeah,
pass, one can run, and that's it. And that's not a way to run an offense, but they're getting wins out of it right now, but we'll see how that goes going forward if they make a playoff spot and also when they play Texas. So we're going to see if this works out for them.
I think what's good for Texas A&M is they can run the ball, right? Um, and they commit themselves to running the ball. Like you may stop them, but they're like, all right, we're gonna keep running it down your throat until you break, because at some point we're going to break, right? Last night they rushed for 242 yards. LSU rushes for 24 yards. That is not a stat that happened in a quarter or a drive. That is for the whole game. LSU rushed for 24 yards. That's the game right there. If you can't
And
run the ball and you got to put all your trust in Nussmeier, who's turnover prone, who everyone says that had some throws in the Ole Miss game, they're like, you probably shouldn't have threw that, but it worked out. 3 interceptions and 24 rushing yards is a hell of a stat to go on the road and try to win a football game.
yeah. And yeah, he put them in this situation with the loss because some of those interceptions they were just blatant and just ugly. I don't know why he would throw these these balls into the covers that he threw them into. Like on one of the plays, they're trying to come back and stuff, and it's like a throw to the flats, and Buddy's like completely covered. The corners are actually in front of the receiver, and he just throws it out there and just pick. Or the other one, they're like in the middle of the field, and he's throwing like I think it's like a drag or a slant. I can't remember what it was, and Buddy's covered, throws it in there, interception. I'm like, bro, I know you're trying to like keep the ball moving, but those throws they're not gonna work. And here we are talking about an L for LSU because they were going the whole first half. They looked good. I wasn't worried. I was like, okay, LSU's about to blow them out, 17-7 going in the half. No worries. And then second half came. Nussmeier starts throwing picks. LSU's defense started looking like 2023 LSU defense and lost.
Absolutely. Like, and that's such a hard thing to like try to make adjustments on the fly when a quarterback change happens, right? Because it's two different dynamics, right? And
Yeah.
Marcel Reed was fresh. He hadn't played a whole half. He was fresh, rejuvenated, hadn't been out there in that weather. It's pretty humid in the College Station area. Was feeling the crowd, intensity the whole game. So it was a setup, and I think Elko knows what he's doing, and I think it's scary because that defense can carry A&M to a deep into the playoffs. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now a lot will be said about this offense because they have to go play one of the best defenses in the SEC. They got to go play South Carolina, and that defensive line is no joke. And I think they're fast enough and uh, pretty athletic to hold Marcel Reed on the running game. Um, so we'll see how that plays, and I think they could get to Connor Wigman on the rushing pass rush game also. So we'll see what that defense is able to do against Sellers. I think he's got better, but that's next week, and then LSU has a bye, and then they have to go play Bama. Um, Honestly, if Bama comes out like they did against the first week of Georgia and runs the ball like Marcel Reed was on LSU, don't think we'll have any problems. If not, it's going to be a game in Baton Rouge. I just know that it will be a game in Baton Rouge, and I'm excited to see that. So, Aggie fans, you proven me wrong, but for how long, huh? How long have you proven me wrong? I appreciate the TikTok comments and I appreciate the messages that you've all sent me. Some of them calling me fat. I don't, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. I like to have a Reese's Pieces every now and then, and I will wear my hat when I'm talking about you. But moving forward, shout out to the Aggies for winning the game. That Texas A&M game might have to take a loan out on your mortgage to get a ticket for that. I heard so. Um, moving forward, we got a close call for Texas. James had a road game after having a disappointing loss to Georgia at home. Belt to ass if you ask me what Georgia did to Texas, but then they had to go to Vandy, and Vandy's kind of been like the magic team of the SEC. They beat Bama, they beat Kentucky. They excuse me. Mm. It had a little hiccup against Ball State, but came out and won the game. So they go into Texas goes into hostile territory with construction. You know what I mean? Vandy strikes first. Vandy goes up on Texas first, and then I think Ewers throws an interception. And they're calling for his job, James. Everybody on Twitter is saying, put Arch Manning in. We can't take Ewers anymore. I don't know what he's doing. This coaching staff is stupid. Arch Manning is our savior. And what happens, James? Ewers goes into the game. He's 27 for 37, 3 touchdowns, and both of the picks were off of deflections. Right? It's really kind of hard to say like he threw it. It's a difference that he threw it to the guy and it was deflected and the ball like got it to the defense. Right?
Yeah.
So once again though, Texas does rush for 100 yards, which is good, but I don't know. It was a close call for Texas. To be honest with you, like we talked about last week on our podcast, we said that Vandy could pull out the win.
Yeah.
I just don't think they had the caliber of skill players to help Diego out, and I think their line just couldn't match up with Texas's trenches. So, how you feel about the game?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I think it was just they did what they could. They just didn't have the players around Diego to get over that hump and actually pull out the win. And that's fine. I mean, it is Vanderbilt. They do what they can. Diego Pavia is giving them some new life, but when it's just him, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, they pushed Texas to the limit. So kudos to them. And the fact that Diego was that first score that he did when he was running and stuff, it kind of makes me nervous going forward for Texas when they play A&M, because if it's Marcel Reed in there, it's just going to be an issue for them with that type of running. So that's what kind of concerns me with the way Diego scored that touchdown. But all in all, I figured this was going to be a trap game for Texas, and sure enough, Vanderbilt pushed them to the limit. Texas still pulled it out, and y'all got a quick coming for Quinn, man. He is y'all's quarterback until the end of the year, and that's that. Arch has it the rest of the time after Quinn leaves, but right now it's Quinn's team, and y'all gotta relax. I get it, y'all want him to play, but man, y'all putting too much pressure on this man, and I'm sure he shuts out the noise, but y'all gotta chill for real. Like, ain't no reason, bro. Y'all were so gung-ho about him until y'all saw Arch Manning play those 2 games, and then now it's Arch Manning time and stuff.
Mind you, the 2 games that he played, were UTSA, UL Monroe, and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Well, 3 games he played, right? It wasn't like he was playing against Oklahoma, Georgia, and Vandy.
Mm-hmm.
He played against inferior competition. Now, listen, here's my worry, and then here's when I'm worried and when I'm not worried. Kind of looking ahead, Texas does play Florida, Arkansas, which Arkansas has a pretty mobile quarterback, Taylor Green, Kentucky, and then they play A&M. Okay, let's say they go undefeated, and then they have to play A&M, and A&M goes undefeated. What if A&M by that time has perfected the 2 quarterback system? Okay, what if they perfected like having two quarterbacks and confusing the defense, maybe even having them in at the same time, right? Like on some not even trick play, but like, hey, this is how we're running our offense right now. What 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 quarterback has Texas played or will Texas play to be prepared for this game? James, there were 104,000 people at Aggie Stadium. It's going to be sold out, probably like over capacity when they play Texas. There's going to be so much hype on this game. I already know the first pick the Quinn throws, they're going to be calling for Arch Manning. I would never put Arch Manning in that environment. I'm going to let you know right now. I don't give a damn how bad Quinn is playing. I'm not about to shake up my redshirt sophomore quarterback and throw him out there in that environment, right? So, does if we from today, if Texas play Texas A&M tomorrow or next week, who do you feel wins the game?
I still feel Texas still wins. Um, it'll be probably close, just because of the capabilities of Marcel Reed to scramble and run. But I think Texas just has so much on offensive side of the ball to overcome them and get over that hump. And that's if Marcel Reed plays. It could be Connor Wigman, and if it's that, I'm not super worried, to be honest, unless he just has some magic thing that happens to him and he's a high caliber QB at A&M, but he has
Never
his
heard of
ups and
him.
downs. Like, he looked amazing at Mizzou, and then come
Who
to
doesn't?
LSU. I'm saying I'm just saying, but like, and then you go to LSU and he's playing terrible. So what Connor Wigman will we see when they play Texas? Who knows? Well, what Marcel Reed will we see when we play Texas? Who knows? It's it's just super hard to kind of gauge Texas A&M right now on offense, just because both these quarterbacks have their ups and downs, and neither one of them is just like that number one QB that's gonna carry you and put you over the hump over Texas, and that could be bad for A&M. Now, like I was talking about Texas, though, it can also be bad for them just for the way Diego Pavia ran. The way Diego Pavia ran against Texas is kind of sketchy. But I think Texas can fix that, and I think they can tighten that up. So once they get to that point, and if they play like next week or something like that, that's why I think Texas will still pull it out, because it's kind of like a controversy with A&M QBs right now. And if I'm Marcel Reed, I'm calling for the job. Like, y'all saw what he did out there in the first half, and then I come in here and win. So, but hey, I don't know. They could be the best of friends for all I know. But at this point, I would just be calling for his job, and then that kind of makes some turmoil in the QB room. But who knows? Either way, I still think Texas would win, but that's still a long ways away, and we don't know what this QB system is going to be like in the next few weeks either. They may settle on one of them for all we know.
Right. Um. Yeah. I'm. To be honest with you, I kind of want to go ahead and make a prediction on this game, but I'm not, because I got a lot of fans and I want to piss off too many of y'all yet. Right. Not yet. Um. I would just say this: who's the best team Texas has played, and who? Not even that. Who's been challenged more throughout this whole season? Who's been challenged more? And I think that home field advantage at Kyle Field is going to be interesting to see if they can split it. How well? I know they'll travel well, but how many Texas fans are going to be able to get into that stadium? Where
I'm sure they already.
you got to put your money where your mouth is. Like, it's not going to be split like Oklahoma, Texas. Y'all going to be in there, spread out. But how much how much can Texas take in that environment? Like, everything matters. Offensive lineman hearing the calls, the snap count, all of that matters. I think just first off, right now, I think Texas is going to win that game. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be the ugliest game probably we've seen in history at A&M versus Texas. However, I'm just scared because I think Quinn is not losing confidence, but I think that quarterback controversy is going to cause concern if they keep having these close games and if Quinn keeps turnovering the ball. So that's how I look at it. Because if they march Arch Manning out there and Kyle Field, I don't care if Peyton Manning and God showed up himself. He's not going to win that game. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. But yeah, that's my opinion on it.
I don't know. I don't think I'm not too worried about it with the QBs. I think it's said that Quinn is the quarterback. It's just the fans are just, they want to see him play, and it's just not time yet. And that's just what it is. It's just not time yet, and they just have to be patient with that. So,
well, we'll put a pin in that. Just want to say in between the show, we appreciate you guys following us on TikTok and YouTube and everything. Please continue to subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We really do appreciate it. We've went up in followers over the week. So please continue to do that, and we appreciate it. Now, moving forward, James, I'm going to take a minute on this because I've always told you, everybody always wanted to say, Ryan Day goes 10-2. What's the problem? Ryan Day goes 10-2 every year. What's the problem? He only loses to Michigan. What's the problem? The problem right now, James, is Ryan Day got the two best running backs in the nation, and they ran for less than 100 yards. Indiana ran for 200 plus on Nebraska last week. 200 plus with a team full of transfers. You know what that's called? That's called good coaching. That's called developing your team. That's called pushing your players. Ohio State loses another offensive lineman, right? Now their depth on offensive lineman was shaky at first. Now it's even worse. They pull out the win yesterday against Nebraska. However, do you feel confident after that win that Ohio State is a playoff team?
I think it's more just they're looking to next week. And I think that's what the problem was with this game. They weren't focused and they weren't locked in to Nebraska. They're looking to next week. And luckily they didn't lose. But
I thought they were going to lose. I'm being honest with you. I was like, Ohio State's about to lose this game. And it's going to cause controversy through the whole college football world.
yeah. But I just don't think Nebraska had enough to beat Ohio State. But I mean, if you're not focused and you're looking to Penn State, these things can happen. And it almost, and then your two running backs. I don't understand what happened there. Like you said, Indiana rushed for like 200 plus yards against them last week. And then you go and just have 64 yards, I believe that's what it was, between your two best running backs.
Sounds like you got beat up front. Sounds like you had 7 tackles for loss on Nebraska side, right?
Yeah.
You lost in the trenches to Nebraska.
And that's what's going to be their downfall, if anything, next week. If they can't, lock that up and get it tightened up and figure it out, Penn State going to whoop their ass. And
if you can't block Nebraska, how are you going to block Penn State?
I don't know. But again, I think I just think it was more just they weren't focused on Nebraska. They're focused on Penn State. So they might play better next week. But again, you got to focus in the here and now, the present, and get over this game first before you even thinking about Penn State. And this is just me assuming things. I'm not in that locker room. I have no, ears on the field or nothing. I just think that's what it was. You're playing a mediocre Nebraska team, and then you're playing the number 4 or number 3 team in the nation next week. So But yeah, figure out their run game. Jeremiah Smith's still looking nice. Your receivers are nice. The receiving room is just out of this world. Will Howard is playing decent. He's doing enough. You just got to run the ball. You just got to be able to run the ball.
If they can't run the ball against Penn State, do you trust them to win that game off the back of Will Howard?
I think they'll still play very well just because their receiving core is just that talented. Winning the game, don't know, because Penn State is playing out of their minds right now too, even with their backup coming in last week and this past Saturday and winning the game for them. Drew Allard went down, and I forget the other dude's name, but he came in and played very well. So the way Penn State is rolling right now, I'd be worried if I'm Ohio State if we can't run the ball, because Penn State is out for blood this year. I counted them out at the beginning of the year. I thought it was just going to be them losing 2 games to some random team, but hey, they are playing very well this season, and that's my bad for doubting y'all. And going into next week, Ohio State has to be able to run the ball as well. They'll still make it close just because they're just that talented. And just like today, their receiving core kept them in the game to win the game down the line. I don't know if that happens against Penn State. It may keep it close, but to close it out or something like that, you got to be able to run the ball. So we'll see. I don't know. I just don't know if they would be able to still beat Penn State. I don't know. I don't want to give a like, yeah, Ohio State would lose, or yeah, Penn State may lose. It's just they can still move the ball very well even without running it. That's my only thing.
If Penn State beats Ohio State, they would be 6-2, right?
Yeah.
What are we saying about Ryan Day as a coach then?
If they lose, first you lose to the new Big Ten team, Oregon, on a loophole in the rule book, and then you lose to Penn State. You're thinking like this is your year. Michigan's done. You probably beat Michigan. You got to beat Penn State. You got to beat Oregon. You've already lost Oregon. I'm looking at Ryan Day as just like, you can't win when it counts. And yeah, you can go 10-2 year in, year out, but what are we really doing?
Because they still have to listen. Michigan, they still have to play Michigan. Michigan still has a good defense. The offense is figuring it out, which I don't think they'll have it figured out by the end of the year. But Michigan still has a top 10 defense. They got to play Indiana. The team that just you played got smoked by Indiana. Boat raced. Belt to ass. If Ohio State loses 3 games, James, some tough conversations are going to have to be had about Ryan Day, because you got the bankroll for the roster. You went and got Caleb Downs. You went and got Judkins. You kept all your other players not going to the draft. You had to bankroll that. You brought in Chip Kelly, an offensive mastermind. You brought in Will Howard, who you said was better than I forgot his name. The quarterback, McCord, which after McCord's performance, I think that's fair to say. But yeah, like, you got everything you needed to be successful. What is the problem? You are the problem. You can't push your team over the edge. You can't call a game, or you can't put your team in position to win in the big moments. So we got to get rid of the head of the snake, and we got to start all over, basically.
Yeah, I guess so, because the season is not getting any easier. You play Penn State next week. You got to play a really good Indiana team. I'm not really super worried about Michigan, bro. I know they have a good defense, but their offense hasn't been great. so I'm not super worried there. It's just next week. They can lose next week and they'll be okay. It's when they play Indiana where everything's on the line, and if they lose
I don't,
that game,
but I don't even think if they lose next week, I don't think they make the playoffs. Because look, if they lose next week, Ohio State has to play Indiana. Even if they beat Indiana, right, and they lose to Penn State, it'll be either Indiana or Penn State that has to go play Oregon. The loser of that more than likely is going to go to the playoffs. I don't think three teams are getting in the big
Big
from the
Ten.
Big Ten. You're in the midst of 12-team playoff, and even if you do beat Indiana, Indiana has one loss. They could still go play in the Big Ten championship because you got beat by Oregon and Penn State. Now, if Oregon beats Penn State, then we have to talk about who we're taking, Indiana or Penn State, to go to the Big Ten game. Penn State might get in over you because of the tiebreaker. So this game is really important, and I'm saying I don't see a path of them winning if with the injuries that they have on the offensive line side, it's being their weakness, and they can't run the ball. Jeremiah Smith is amazing, but I'm not saying he's Superman. Somebody can stop him. And we've already seen Will Howard crumble under pressure. So, and gets that defensive line for Penn State. Yeah, man. This is what I'm gonna say. It's a wrap, James. It's a wrap. Tell Ryan Day he had a hell of a run at Ohio State. He was born on third base, as they always say, and he just couldn't get home. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but it's a wrap. It's a wrap for Ohio State.
we'll see. Oh, the game hasn't been played yet, so we'll see.
Now, those are all the ones that I had chalked up, had notes about, but I want to just bounce some things off of you, right? Indiana, are they legit?
Oh yeah, they are. They haven't trailed in any game this year, and they're not just winning; they're blowing people out. So going forward, if I'm playing Indiana, I'm worried. Ohio State should be worried. But focus on Penn State first. But after that, yeah, be worried about Indiana. They're the real deal. Even with their backup quarterback getting in because their starter got hurt, they were still out there, bro.
That
So
defense is legit, bro.
yeah, that's all I can say about them. They're legit. The basketball still playing. A basketball school like said, let's go play some football. Fuck it. Excuse my language, but they're playing. They're playing really well right now, and they're cool. They're really good to play. I mean, good to play, good to see also because they put up points. They shut down the other opponents, and man, especially like when they played Nebraska, bro. Yeah, they're exciting to see, and going forward, I hope they are the Big Ten championship game. I hope so,
Against
but
Oregon, ooh, that'll be. I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie, that'll be a good matchup for y'all.
Yeah, I would love
Because
to see that. Just because you don't see, Oregon, excuse me, you don't see Indiana be this good in football ever, not in my lifetime at least. So it'd be dope to see them get into the Big Ten championship, but they got to beat Ohio State and they got to keep it clean and stay undefeated. So we'll see what happens down the line. But yeah, I would be worried about Indiana for sure.
all right, next question I had: BYU keeps rolling, yes or no?
What's the rest of the schedule? I think so, but let me look real quick. They
Listen, BYU's a wagon, bro. BYU's a wagon. Top 9. I mean, top 10 now. They
yeah.
got Utah,
So
Kansas,
can't.
Arizona State, Houston. That's a cake schedule, James.
They don't sleep on Kansas. They like to wake
Yeah,
up here and
bro,
there.
what? Kansas?
They almost beat Kansas State.
Kansas State almost lost to Colorado. What are we talking about here?
I'm just saying. They like to play in those big games like that. So I would just keep my eye on Kansas when BYU plays them. Just saying. And Arizona State, they've been playing well too.
They don't have a kicker.
Go for two. What are you talking about?
You're right.
There's other ways to
You're
get
right.
points on the board.
Well, I mean, they don't even have a quarterback. Jeff Sims is their quarterback from Nebraska last year. The quarterback's out. Levitt's out.
It's the Big 12, so I would just keep my eyes open for Arizona State and Kansas.
Okay.
But Utah, and then Houston's just been trash all year. So
Houston beat Utah.
Okay, what are we talking about right now? Utah has been losing games. Utah's been losing games.
I'm just saying. Houston beat Utah. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? All right, but let me give you time to brag.
Barn burner 17-14. So let's just relax.
Hey, I'm gonna give you some time to brag about your team. Go ahead and talk about Oregon's dominance against Illinois. What did you like? What you didn't like? And what do you think your team going forward will be?
They played very well. I wasn't too worried about this game. I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but hey, Oregon's just playing really good right now. They've grown since the beginning of the year. They cleaned up a lot of that mess and just finally figured out how to play together as a unit on offense and on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm looking forward to them hopefully staying undefeated going forward. Looking up the schedule right now because I can't remember who else they're playing. So they got Michigan next week, Maryland, Wisconsin, and then Washington. Michigan game, not super worried, but Michigan also has a solid defense, so we'll see. And then Washington, they always struggle with Washington for some reason. And last year, I know they had Michael Penix and all them boys over there, but even before that, they would struggle with Washington a little bit. So just gotta watch out for that. But other than that, I don't see them. I see the undefeated season. They just gotta stay locked in, which they are right now. Dylan Gabriel's super locked in, and I would appreciate him if he wouldn't throw a pick every game, but it is what it is.
hey, you just gotta live with it, I guess. Right?
Yeah, just gotta live with that, I guess. But they've been looking really good.
What I don't like about it is y'all got like unlimited wide receivers and running backs. Like, where did Remington come from? Like, where did he come from? I think he's a freshman. Is he a freshman?
Having running backs. I think he was there last year. Am I tripping? Let me look it up.
Somebody was a freshman that was getting playing time also.
I want to say he was there last year.
I just like your wide receiver crew. Holden, Tess Johnson. Like, and y'all don't even have your best defensive player back, Burks, back yet either. Yeah. So he's supposed to come back this week against Michigan.
Yeah, he's a junior. I thought so. I thought he was there. Okay. Yeah, I thought he was there last year. I couldn't remember. But yeah, like we didn't leave. Excuse me, I'm over here stuttering. Sheesh. we didn't lose a lot of firing power from last year when we lost what's his name? Our other good receiver. I forgot his name, but anyways, Tez and all of them have been keeping it together even without him. So I was kind of worried if they were going to have a little fall off with him going to the draft last year, but I was worried for no reason. And I remember saying this when they signed Dylan Gabriel. I was just like, I don't know if I like that, just because I saw what he did in Oklahoma at times. But I guess the system is a lot better for him. And I was wrong again. So, hey, we undefeated with him, so I'll take it. It looked a little sketchy at the beginning of the year, but we've cleaned it up. We looked a lot better, and we just got to keep playing like this and, get that first round bye in the playoffs and, first win the Big Ten and then get that first round bye. So we got Indiana, Penn State, or Ohio State in that game. So we just got to be locked in for whichever team we're playing there.
Okay. Colorado made a statement in their game. They won, beat Cincinnati. Travis Hunter played absolutely insane. My big takeaway from this game is the 4th and 1. Cincinnati has the ball 4th and 1 driving down Colorado, and they stopped them, James. They stopped them on 4th and 1. Absolutely stuffed. Cincinnati. Colorado is ranked now 24, and they got a tough schedule. They got to go to Texas Tech at night. I don't know if any of our followers, probably some of y'all do, but if you ever been to Lubbock at night, it's not a fun place to be. It's creepy. The people are insane and they are wild. They have no regard for your life at all if you're not from Lubbock. So yeah, I've been to Lubbock. I've saw a guy get knocked out and hit the ground, and it sounded like a shotgun going off. So Colorado, be aware. Don't take Texas Tech lightly. But overall, if you do win that game, I would feel a lot better about you going to the Big 12 championship and maybe the playoffs. Maybe the playoffs. If Colorado makes it to the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of people out here making apology letters. I'm just letting you know right now. Even if they don't win, they just make it to the playoffs. We'll see. I'm gonna need you,
Okay.
G. I'm gonna need you, G, both to come up here and give y'all speech. I would appreciate that from a fellow Colorado supporter.
I'll tell you right now, I would not be doing that. So just put that out there. But yeah, they better be worried about Tech because Tech they can sling the ball. They blew this game against TCU. Unfortunately, they could have easily won it, but Tech on
Yeah,
Tech. So drop 2, one against Baylor, and then this one. I I knew I had too much confidence in this team to go to the Big 12 championship and win it. Cause I told you, and you were taking Baylor lightly. I said no, Tech is gonna be a game, and Baylor might come out and just beat their ass. And sure enough, but the TCU game, unexpected. I did not think they would lose 2 back-to-back games, but here we are.
it's Tech,
So
bro. It's
I
Tech.
know, I know, and I had too much confidence in them, but never again. Anyway, Colorado just got to be wary, just a little bit wary about Tech's offense because they can sling it, they can go for 500 yards passing if you let them. So just don't take them lightly. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. All right, last subject, and I wanted to get to this. Boise versus UNLV happened last Friday or this Friday. Um, Ashton Genty didn't rush for 200 yards, right? He got everything he wanted rushing wise. He earned it because they were on his ass. Okay. Um, my overall thought of this game, James, is I said that if they can stop Williams from running, right, that they can win the game. They didn't stop him from running. However, Boise State defense, 9 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble. An absolute masterclass from defense. I thought they didn't have a pulse, to be honest with you. I thought this was going to be a shootout. I thought Genty was going to run all over UNLV's defense. Didn't happen. UNLV defense bucked up. Right, Genty only had 128 yards, 33 carries, so about 3.9 yards per carry. Not like his average, of usually 11, 12 yards per carry.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good game. There was some controversy, referee calls, whatever, you know what I mean. But overall, Boise is a wagon, and I'm on the Boise State wagon. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my title, Boise State supporter. So
Yeah, and I told you it was going to be an overtime game, but it was still pretty close. So give it to them, and I give it to UNLV for containing Genty for the most part. 33 carries is a lot. God dang.
that's a lot of carries, bro. And his longest run was
Jeez.
only 16 yards. So
That's a ton of carries,
get it how
man.
you
But
live. You feel me?
yeah, live and die by Genty, Boise State said, but they survived. They got out of there. So kudos to them. I don't know who they got moving forward, but
Well, their schedule's pretty easy going forward. So they got San Jose State, Wyoming. Oh, well, they got San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, and Wyoming. None of these teams have a. The only team that has a winning record is San Jose State. They're 5-3. So
Mm.
don't think they'll have
And,
a problem. I think Genty will be able to still hit that record.
and then they got Boise, excuse me, Oregon State at the end of the year.
Do they play Oregon State at the end of the year?
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Oregon State doesn't have a winning record, I don't think either.
Yeah, the 29th they play Oregon State. Yeah, so I mean they have a easy road going forward. Probably they might lock up the 12th spot in the playoffs. Maybe we'll see, but I don't see Genty having this type of game again.
Yeah, me
UNLV's a
either.
really good team. Williams is a force, bro. Why was he not starting this year? Besides before the other guy,
Bro, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, bro. Sluka must have had something on UNLV, bro. Like he must have had I don't know. He must have had something on him because there's no way they
yeah.
were starting Williams over Sluka.
I'm saying, bro, because I mean, as soon as he came in, bro, he just been going crazy, and I'm like, so y'all had this the whole time, but y'all wanted Sluka to play. I'm so confused, but hey, it is what it is. But,
Yeah.
oh well.
All right, you got anything for me, or we good? We good on this review today?
No questions today. You hit me with the questions. I forgot to look at the AP poll until earlier, and we already discussed it, so I'm not even gonna bother with it. I'll get y'all next week. I mean, when was it? Thursday or Friday for questions? So.
All right, guys, we appreciate you coming to the Over and Under podcast. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Comment what you don't like. I'm gonna be talking shit all week. All right, and in these clips, I'm gonna be making videos because I think a lot of y'all are gonna lose this week coming up, including Texas A&M. Yeah, that's right. I'm still at your neck, Texas A&M. Forget all you Aggies. And just to let you know, if you Aggies, I got a cousin that goes to college there in Aggie. So Tommy, I just want to let you know, it's still smoke over here. You feel me? We don't like the Aggies, never will. Yeah, but follow all our socials. Video will be posted tomorrow. Podcast will be posted tomorrow. As always, we appreciate you guys. James, you got anything else for the people?
No, just thank y'all for always tuning in and conversing with us on the socials and stuff. I know y'all don't like some of our texts, but hey, it comes with the territory of having a podcast. You're not going to agree with everything we say, so that's understandable. But thank y'all for interacting and everything, and always tune in every week. So appreciate y'all.
All right, we appreciate y'all for coming through. As always, it's Charles and James for the Over and Under podcast. Also, check your kids' candy for Halloween. We don't need any mishaps. Appreciate you for coming out. And if you are white, don't dress up as anybody that you might lose your job in a week. All right, leave the black face alone. All right, thank God.
Oh,
and what?
Don't dress up as Diddy, y'all. It's not a
Please,
joke.
please. Yeah, it's not a joke at all.
Yeah.
And we're getting out of college football, but y'all don't be sick. Okay, be simple. There's other funny things that you can dress up as, like the Bears defense. But anyway, we'll go ahead and head out. Appreciate that. Y'all have a great day.